Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to Amazon'sFitMag.com. The podcast is brought to you by Maximus Posing Suits. Let your inner warrior shine. Custom-made competition suits for victory on every stage. And bronze level sponsor, Murder Weight Apparel, murderweight.com. You're not just wearing a clothing brand, you're wearing a mindset. Murderweight.com. And GPS photography and video. Why photography and video? Because of a photo's worth 1,000 words, video's worth 1,000,000. GPS photo and video.com. GPS photography and video publishes Amazon's Fitness Magazine. And so very excited about going into our third year. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe, of course, to the website. My guest is IFBB Women's Physique Pro, Rachael Heffner. Rachael, thanks for joining me from way out there in Bloomington, Illinois? Indiana.
Yep.
And there's a Bloomington, Illinois as well, right?
There is. It's actually not too far. So it does get a little confusing.
So everybody wanted to keep the same. They didn't want to change their name, so they just kept it, I guess.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, where you got your pro card. But I don't think a lot of people know who you are. You know, I tend to look out towards the Midwest because having family in Ohio. So I'm like, okay, there's a women's physique pro. There's another pro. So it's interesting. Mostly everybody seems to be drawn in more centrally.
Yes, definitely. I think it's because there's nothing else to do other than bodybuild out here.
Well, you got basketball.
So, that's true. There is basketball. It depends on what part of this, like, I would say the central area that you're from, because some places, you know, they're all about football. A lot of them, like where I'm from, is all about basketball, especially if you go to like Kentucky, they're all basketball fans. So, yeah, that's fair. Baseball sometimes not very good, but so I am from Indiana, born and raised. I was always kind of a chubby kid, believe it or not. I definitely grew up in the Midwest eating anything and everything around. And so I actually was extremely overweight growing up. Went into college and just kind of decided that wanted to change my life up and do something different. So I decided to lose weight. And so I started my college, my first year of college at 300 pounds and graduated at about 135, 140 pounds. So throughout the entire time I was in college. Yeah, thank you. That's where I really fell in love with bodybuilding. My dad was actually, he lifted, he's a police officer, so he did like the police and fire games and always did all of that stuff. So I was always around it, but I never really was interested in it. But I took a class about lifting when I was at Ball State just for, you know, easy credits.
Indiana. Yeah.
Yes.
I know
that's where I graduated. Yeah. So I took a class there and really just fell in love with it. Like I was already losing weight, but I didn't really know kind of that next step. So really fell in love with weightlifting. And then once I graduated, kind of started to follow a program and really started to learn about what bodybuilding actually was. I was still trying to lose weight. I actually ended up getting excess skin removal in 2017. So that was like my big goal. And after that, I was kind of lost and didn't really know what I wanted to do. I worked 7 years for that goal, and I'm a very goal-oriented person. I feel like you have to be in bodybuilding to really, you know, keep going. So I decided that I wanted to try to compete. And once I recovered from the surgery, I competed in 2018 at my first show at the Indiana State Show, which was in August, and basically swept everything there. I got a state title, won all my novice classes, won my open classes, competed at another local show in Fort Wayne called the Hoosier Flex that year, got my qualifications, and then didn't really know kind of what I wanted to do next steps. I did both figure and physique at both of those shows. The judges basically were like, you can kind of go either way, but you got to pick one. on what you want to look like. And I really liked the posing of women's physique. I liked being on stage a lot longer. I liked having more, more muscle, more posing to it. Plus, getting out of the heels is always a good time.
Yeah.
So, and I really like doing the posing routine and everything like that. So, leaned more toward that. And I actually was in off season for a little while and then started to prep for the 2019 Nationals in Miami. And so I went there and I ended up getting second, but got my pro card there. And that was my third show ever. So my pro debut will be my fourth show I've ever done.
That's great. And that's a great journey as well. Congratulations. And you self-motivated yourself that you wanted to make a lifestyle change, and it really is. I was telling you about football camps earlier. I actually did take my son to Muncie, Indiana for Ball State football camp. So, I know exactly where it is. Get a little drive, but like I said, I have a sister in Columbus, Ohio. So that was a good stop-off point. So
yeah, absolutely. Ball State's a nice little place.
It is. Yep. In fact, they had to cut the camp short because y'all out there in like the tornado alley and all the storms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was between that and Indiana State. So we chose to go to Ball State, and then we also went to Ohio State football camp too. So great area though, wide open country. And you really got to be careful of the Indiana State Police because just like Ohio, their cars are gray, and so when you're driving down the interstate down 70, the daggone highway blends into the color of the car, and you next thing you know, it's too late.
Yes, all the time. You just hear the sirens.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man.
Yeah, they are tough. What did you study at Ball State?
So I actually studied creative writing in English. So nothing to do with anything that I do for any sort of living. I started there as a TCOM major because that's what Ball State's known for, is their telecommunications. My first semester, I absolutely hated it. So I was just like, I know I like to write. I know I like to read. So why don't I just do that and then figure something out from there, whether it's teaching or, I wanted to edit books and like be an editor.
There you go.
And learned a lot when I was there. And like I said, discovered that I really liked, weightlifting and kind of just fell down that journey.
Well, I can tell you editing is a big deal, especially when it comes to books and magazines, because there's nothing more frustrating, in my case, to have the magazine completely done and then go back through it and say, oh, there's a spelling error. And it's like, that can kill, because that's all anyone's going to focus on. They don't care how good the magazine's laid out. Oh, you misspelled it, especially if you're misspelling someone's name. So, that's like, it's big money in that. I tell you what, because between me and my art director, Mike Young, the second, that takes up the most time because you're so excited about to get it done and get the layout. And then you're like, so, So kudos
absolutely.
to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I wanted a reason to read and get paid for it. So that's kind of where that idea came from. And eventually, maybe when I get a little bit older and, something like that, I could definitely see myself doing that. But, I'm too spry right now. I'm too restless. I got a lot of things going on. So
I got you. So this will be your pro debut, your fourth show. How long have you been in prep?
So I started prep the 1st of January. So once I compete, it'll be a 30-week prep total.
Got you. And who's your coach?
So I actually self-coach with my fiance, almost husband. With our coaching business.
Almost husband. Where did you meet him? Did you meet him in the gym as well?
I met him in the gym as well. So very organic, just randomly came into the gym and, just headed off from there.
That's great. That's great. Now, does he compete as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I was just talking to Haley Berry the other day. Her husband competes and he's a pro as well. So that helps. That really does help, especially with the chemistry and stuff. And so now, what category does he compete in?
So he's competes in open bodybuilding.
Big guy, big boy. Okay.
He actually is coached by Derek Lunsford. So
okay. So
who
now
I
is
don't
he a pro as well?
No, not yet. He is
Okay.
actually prepping for to get his pro card in this fall. He did like a warm up show earlier just to get the qualification, and then he'll be in
Mm-hmm.
prep probably like 6 or 7 weeks after I will. So,
What show is he looking at?
North Americans right now.
Oh, okay, Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Yep.
September. All right,
Yep.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, you chose Chicago Pro because that's the show that you're doing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so it's closer to Indiana. Do you find yourself leaning more towards geographically, or does it care? Does it matter that you go across?
Um, So I chose this show for the geographic standpoint, just because it is
Mhm.
closer and I can get my feet wet.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily care if it's far away or not. It was mostly just let's get back on stage, let's show off what we got. It's been a
Mhm.
while since I've been on stage, and then from there we can kind of choose like if there's a specific show. Like I had Tampa and Texas kind of in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I ended up not being able to do those because of other things. I'm coaching a few people that are competing those weekends, so
Okay.
can't do those. But I don't mind traveling. It's just why not do something that's 3 hours away versus having
Yeah.
to fly
Makes
or
sense. It
so.
makes sense. How has your family support been with you being in the competition fitness or competitive fitness, I should say?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think the first show was a little weird for them,
Hmm.
because clearly I grew up, overweight. It's not really something that like my family doesn't isn't a bunch of bodybuilders. They don't understand.
Hmm.
So the first one was really strange, but my family was intrigued by it. They were definitely supportive of it in the best way that they can be. My dad would be like, "Hey, do you want a piece of chicken?" Da, da, da. And I'm like, "I can't eat that. You
Yeah,
have stuff on it." So
exactly.
that
And then
first
they'll come
time
back and
is
say, "Well, it's baked chicken. It's baked chicken."
yes,
You can like,
yeah,
no.
no, not exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that first time, I think they try to be supportive. They just don't understand it. But
Right.
once I had done it a few times, it was easy. Everybody knows, like, hey, Rachel's gonna bring her own food, or Rachel's gonna have her water. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about it. So they're always super supportive about my
Yeah.
decision to compete, and always asking like what the plans are, like how does it work, things like that.
Right.
So I'm very lucky with that.
Yeah, that's great. When you look at women's physique, it's been all the talk this year. From you guys, it was like deja vu with women's bodybuilding last year, with you guys not showing up at shows in the beginning, such as the St. Louis Pro. Um, what's your feeling on that? And then, of course, now when you talked about Texas, Sarah Vegas is putting up all the big prize money. What have you
Yeah.
been mapping when you look at your division in women's physique?
I think honestly, I think a lot of girls are holding off a little bit longer just for these bigger shows.
Right.
You do have Sarah putting out all of this, prize money. People are starting to really give reasons for women to compete, especially in these bigger
Hmm.
shows with, Wings of Strength and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of women, are pushing that a little bit further to be able to do those bigger shows. Plus, in my opinion, like I don't want to prep during winter. I don't want to prep during Christmas or anything like that. So doing a
Yes.
show in April sounds awful.
Yeah.
Um, so I think a lot of people push toward the summertime. It's easier. It's already hot, so you're going to be
Hmm.
bikini ready.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my mind goes, is
Okay.
why not go to these bigger shows who potentially give out more money, or
Yeah.
prizes in general, have more competition, and like I said, I don't want to compete during holidays. That
The
just
holidays.
seems
Yeah.
terrible. So
And you could argue, any time to be in prep can be tough. Well, the
yeah,
spring you got Easter, but the holidays is tough because those are the big time family times coming. With Thanksgiving and then
exactly,
Christmas right behind it. So yeah, I can totally
exactly.
understand.
Yeah, well,
What?
not.
Hmm?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You were gonna
I
say?
I was gonna say also on top of that, like when I prepped for Miami, it was in November, um,
Hmm.
and prepping when it's cold is brutal. Like
Yeah.
it is awful. So I can't even fathom trying to do that during the winter of like in Indiana where it's, 30s. Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I'll use the football analogy. When it's warm and all this, everybody's playing well. Then when you get
Yep.
late in the year, you get down to October, November, it's like, man,
Yes.
it'll make you think about it when you get there if you really want to play.
Exactly.
So cold weather sports will get you, but depends on how passionate you are about it and what you like about,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to football and stuff. But that's a great reasoning process, and you got to go with what flows with you. And you're right, it's just tough to be on prep during the holidays because
Yeah.
everybody's in a different mood, giving mood, running around here shopping and everything, and so
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Talk to me
Absolutely.
about your business. You and your fiance have a business, Physiques
Reborn.
Reborn.com.
Yes. So we actually created our coaching business in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We both, coached people separately and decided that we wanted to do it together. He has a very much more strategic and analytic look at, bodybuilding than I do. So we
Mm-hmm.
definitely get to use that part with my, I tend to be more on the fly. How does it look? How does it feel? That type of thing.
Right.
So being able to combine both of our strengths are really, I think it makes us a really well-rounded team. Um, and so we built that in 2020. We've had, a decent little bit of people. We not only prep people for shows, but we also do lifestyle clients. I
Okay.
specialize in lifestyle quite a bit just because of my background.
Yeah,
So
and
I
your
work with,
journey. Yeah. Perfect example.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I work with a lot of women that are just trying to be healthy, trying to feel good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take it a step further and meet other competitors and like we work with men and women who compete. Definitely, I have a lot more fun with the women just because like it's exciting to be able to pick all of the suits and like do the hair and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, so we've been a business for about 4 years now, and definitely have a nice little group of people. Especially being near IU, we get a lot of college kids that are just trying to like get their foot in the door with
Yeah.
bodybuilding. So we get to be kind of that mentor type of role for them, which is really exciting.
And of course, lifestyle is always great because something that's happening in their life, whether it's type 2 diabetes or something where the
Exactly.
doctor say if you don't change your lifestyle, you know, you're going to pass
Yes.
away through heart attack or stroke, and you don't want
Yeah.
that. Do you have more fun working with student athletes? Do you get much involved with them as well?
Yeah, I've had a few, and so has my fiance. We've had a few of them, and I think it's a lot. I don't necessarily want to say more fun or not fun. I think it's definitely a lot more straightforward. I think
Yeah.
if you're dealing with somebody who maybe has health issues or just trying to be healthier, they don't know the, I don't want to say strictness, but they don't know the regimen part
Right.
versus an athlete that's kind of built in, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm
They're
not,
coming in
I'm a
with a
running,
specific goal.
exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's the hard part is learning the person that you're working with and trying to help them figure out the goal that they have set in mind
Yeah.
while also being super realistic, right? Because a lot of these people start out, they're like, I'm going to lose 200 pounds, in a year. And
Hmm.
I'm like, calm down. That's really
Yeah.
fast. let's
Yeah.
let's take a step back and do something where we can actually obtain these goals. Because I think that's a lot of the issue is people, want that quick instant gratification. And it's really hard
Right.
when you don't realize like that's not how it works. People see us prepping for 12, 16 weeks, dropping body fat really quickly. And I'm like, hey, this isn't sustainable. This isn't everyday life. So they think that it is, especially with,
Hmm.
influencers and everything online
Oh
now.
yeah.
So,
It's a get it now type of immediate
yes,
feedback, immediate impact world, and it's like that's just not the way it is.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
You do.
I think it's different, but it's definitely fun. But I think it's a lot
Yeah.
more exciting to work with athletes because they kind of already know that process.
Yeah. Yeah. And then those come in with specific goals like I need to get bigger, faster, stronger. I want to get my 40 in the case of football. It's always a 40 time I got to get down. I need to run that 4.4 because
Yep.
scholarships are at stake as well,
Yes.
especially now in the world of NIL. And if they're on the brink, and it can be a great business too because parents uh, of these student athletes are willing to pay
Yeah.
anything because it's big money. If you can save me $40,000, $50,000 as far as them going to college, hey, it's a great investment. I did the
Absolutely.
same thing with my child, and of course, I played as well, D2 athlete, walk on. But yeah, I got that partial scholarship, and then every little bit helps.
Yeah.
And of course, most importantly, the grades, because let's face it, I don't care how good you are, if you don't have the GPA, you don't
Not
need to
going
worry about
anywhere.
NIL.
Yep. Exactly.
So, what's the town like that you live in? You live in Bloomington, you said?
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
very much small college town. Nothing super crazy. Like I said, IU basically runs the place.
Yep.
I grew up in the city in Indianapolis, and I would say that one is definitely more of a area if you're trying to come and live in the Midwest. It's definitely
Yeah.
more like social, especially for an adult. I would say Bloomington's very much collegey type of feel,
Yeah.
but definitely big, definitely green, definitely lots of pastures. I wouldn't say it's super country, but if you go
Hmm.
outside of it, it's definitely very country. So.
Yeah, it is. So, are you a Colts fan?
I grew up a Colts fan. I honestly
Mhm.
haven't watched the Colts in a really long time, probably since Peyton left.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
my dad was a big Colts fan, so we've
Yeah.
always watched it. He also liked, all the
Yeah.
Green Bay and all of those. I honestly love football, especially professional. I just don't really have a favorite team anymore. I just kind of watch it whenever it's on. Unless
Hmm.
we're talking about the New England Patriots, they can go. I'm from Indiana, so I
Oh,
can't
you
like
don't
the
like the
Patriots.
fact? Okay.
No, if you're from Indiana, you can't like the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom Brady and yeah, great rivalry though between him and Peyton. So great
Yeah,
quarterback. So yeah, what an era
absolutely.
with those guys
Yeah.
had. With your physique, this being your pro debut, what are you trying to specifically work on? Is it your back? Is it your legs? What do you think you need to improve on?
Definitely upper. Definitely want bigger shoulders, bigger back. I since being heavy for so long, I'm definitely more bottom heavy than top heavy.
Hmm.
So want to really hammer in on cap delts, big arms, and then a nice wide back. Back's definitely been the hardest muscle group for me to grow and really learn like muscle to mind connection. Um, I've definitely grown it in the past couple of years and been able to really work on it, but you always want to be bigger, so especially the back.
Yeah. Do you have a posing coach or are you going to pose yourself?
No, I do. I actually work with KJ Center Stage.
Okay.
So,
You already
and
got your music picked out?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not totally done with my posing routine, but I'm definitely one of those like scrambled last minute type of
Yeah.
people. So, I work best under pressure when it comes to that stuff.
Now with your posing routine in women's physique, how much time do you guys get? Is it like 90 seconds or
Yeah,
60?
90 seconds.
90
Hmm.
seconds. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Just, do
Yeah, I
you
think it'll
feel
be
more
good.
like it's gonna what genre of music do you like with it?
So I tend to lean. Honestly, I've done a little bit of everything. This one
Hmm.
is going to be more cinematic type of
Hmm.
feel.
Hmm.
But when I won my pro card, it was Post Malone. When I did my first show, it was Ariana Grande. So like I kind of just
Ah,
do
okay.
something.
It's great
I do a
range.
lot of yeah, I do a lot of things with I like heavy beat drops. I like really being able to hit the pose like on a beat drop, that type of thing. Um, but definitely going a little slower this time than some of my other ones. Really want to make sure I hammer in on the good poses and actually
Hmm.
take the seconds to pose because I think, you know, you scramble through it, you don't even realize it's only been 60 seconds and you're like, oh no. So really want to hammer in on those good poses and really sit in them for a hot second so the judges can see it, photos can be taken, that type of
Yeah, you definitely want to show off your physique, and that's your time. And
Yes.
90 seconds is not long, but then you can get into your head and be like, oh man, I missed this or missed that. What would you say is your favorite pose?
I am probably between a back double bicep and then
Mm-hmm.
probably like a side try. I really like my tricep, like my arm looks really good in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. So that one's always been a really strong pose for me. And then I typically get really diced up in my upper back, so I think that back doubles always look really good.
Yeah.
Those are probably my favorite to hit.
Okay. After Chicago, do you see that you, regardless of how it goes, are you looking at doing another show after that, or would you shut it down?
I don't really have another one in the books at the moment. I'm
Mm-hmm.
open to potentially seeing, if there's something out there that I really decide I want to do. As of right now, it's mostly just get my feet wet, go to Chicago, see what the judges say.
Right.
If they're like, hey, you need to put on a lot more size, I'll probably shut it down and really take a nice long, not long, but a decent off season to
Right.
really grow. And then maybe, hit the circuit for a few shows. Um, but as of right now, I think Chicago's just my only one. We plan to get married in September, so just gonna
Oh, well,
keep it
congratulations. There
tight.
you go.
Thank you. Yeah. Gonna keep it tight until September and then maybe
Well,
just take a nice, vacation or something. So
congratulations. Just
thank you.
hey, just make the wedding a bodybuilding show, you know.
Exactly. Yes,
Get all your
exactly.
bridesmaids, come down there. That could be, one from each category: bikini, wellness, fitness, figure. They can hit their
Yes.
poses. You know, and
Yes,
then
exactly.
your fiance, he's open, so bring in all the open stuff. So just make it
All the open guys.
a whole gym affair.
Yes. I don't even know if there would be enough fabric to be able to cover all the open guys doing
Hey,
a text.
hey, just do it. Do a bow tie. The guys that do bow tie and come out in their posing trunks.
There you
And
go.
just do it,
It'd be
and y'all do
cheaper,
what y'all
that's
do.
for sure. Yes.
Make it a total bodybuilding competition wedding. So, but
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank
That is
you.
great stuff.
Thank
How
you.
did you? So you had a lot going on coming in to pick a show this year, and then y'all getting married in September. What's
Yes.
that balance been like?
Honestly, it hasn't been too bad. I think
Mm-hmm.
if my fiance didn't compete with me, it would be a lot harder. Just because I'm sure you understand, like, if you don't have somebody that understands the lifestyle, it's a
Right.
lot harder to make it work. But being able to lean on him and him lean on me because he had his first show in May. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
let's focus, let's put our head down, get you in prep. Then we'll focus on me and then we'll go back for North Americans. So we've been able to really kind of offset each other with
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you take over. I've got two dogs. You take over, take care of the dogs. I'm going to put my feet up and vice versa. So I think, even with having us getting married in September, it's been really good just being able to do it with him and alongside of
Mm-hmm.
him. I was definitely nervous to be in prep at the same time, but I think it's enough time in between that it's been okay.
So let's go back. So you're getting married in September.
So
North Americans, I think,
at the
roughly
very
15th
end of August.
end of
Yeah.
August. Okay, wow. And then
Yes.
you got the Chicago Pro and both y'all. Yeah, that's a lot on your plate. Have you
Yes.
finished all your planning? You got everything together? Do you have a wedding coordinator or?
Honestly, we are super low key. We are just going to the courthouse.
Got you.
I
I
would
don't blame
rather,
you.
I told
Save a
him I
lot of
would rather,
money.
exactly. I would rather spend the amount of money that we would do on like a real wedding, like a big
Yeah.
wedding, and take like an awesome vacation slash honeymoon or whatever, especially after being in prep for so long of the year. Um,
Right.
so we are going to the courthouse. Our parents are coming, his parents are coming, and we're just gonna get some nice food afterward and just really hang out. Nothing super crazy. So it's been very easy on me.
Hmm. Well, good for you because with what people spend on weddings, and
Yes.
then you still got to afford to live. You
Yeah.
still,
Well, not
after that.
and then bodybuilding is expensive as
Oh
it is
yes.
too. So
So, and
you
I
got to
was
pick
gonna
one or
say,
the
to
other.
be both of y'all in prep, and then you're doing a wedding. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big check to pay.
Oh
But
yeah. No.
congratulations, all the best
Yeah.
to you. It's good
Thank
stuff.
you so much. Yeah.
I'm gonna close out with this last question. and think about it for a second. What do you feel is the best thing about women's physique division? And do you see yourself, based on feedback or what have you, do you see yourself moving up to women's bodybuilding?
Um, so I'll start with the first question. The best thing about women's physique that I've found is that it allows you to be muscular or to actually bodybuild, right?
Mm-hmm.
While still maintaining a feminine look and still being able to, do a little bit more of the artsy type of posing and really be able to kind of tap into that feminine side. Not that you can't do that with female bodybuilding by any means, but to me, I feel like it allows you to be able to hit that feminine side a little bit harder. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then as for feedback, if the judges thought that that is what I would need to do to bring my best package, I wouldn't be opposed to it by any means. I don't think that women's bodybuilding is at all a bad division. I think it's really cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I love to see some of these newer faces like Ashley Jones and really getting up there and like being able to take that next step of going from physique. Actually, she went from figure to physique
Mm-hmm.
um, to bodybuilding and really just making it her own, which I really think is just awesome. I think we've had the same faces in female bodybuilding for so long now, but it's nice to see some of these newer, fresher faces really bring another level to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if the judges thought that that would be my best division, then I would definitely get up there and try it because why not? I love to lift weights and I like being
There you go.
muscular. So yeah,
Good stuff. Really appreciate talking to you, Rachel. Rachael Heffner,
yeah,
Chicago Pro, and all the best. And then after the Chicago Pro, want to get you to come back on and we can talk about how it went, what went well, what went wrong, what you can do better next time.
yeah,
As
I'd love
you
to.
and your future husband are getting ready to do his show, get that pro card. So you're
Yeah.
having a great year for sure already.
Oh yeah, it's going to be one of the best so far. And no matter however Chicago, pans out, I'm just excited to be up there, get to meet a bunch of new girls, and like really just be able to meet other people in the IFBB, just because I haven't really had a chance to do that yet. So very excited.
Great. Thanks for talking to me, Rachel. Talk soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Bye now. So there you have it. Rachael Heffner, IFBB Women's Physique Pro. She's going to the Chicago Pro for her debut. And what better or bigger show to go do it at? And so looking forward to tracking her journey, getting married at the end of the year. So she's got a lot on her plate, as well as her future husband is also going to compete at the North Americans in the Open with the big boys. Coming up at 4:30, Lori Conley is going to join me, IFBB women's bodybuilder, and we'll talk about everything that is going on with her. If you have not ordered the May issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine featuring IFBB and Olympian on her way to Olympia after winning the Triple O Dynasty, Teresa Vancic, what are you waiting on? So get your copy. You can order it from the website, amazonsfitmag.com, or I have, I think, 5 copies left. So if you hit me up, make sure you scan it, pay for the magazine, and please send me your address so I can ship it out to you. I will see you shortly. Talk soon.